Cube now. Now I told you yesterday. For that you should download VirtualBox. VirtualBox is required for both Hardenberg Sandbox or it is required for even for the cloud era distribution. That is one thing because when you download these distributions, there will be different types of downloads. Like what it will ask you, we have to choose which type of download you have to do, like VirtualBox or like VMware or like Docker, like that, many more. Three things are there. That's all. We don't have much anything else. Docker, I think it was introduced recently. I don't think Docker is there in earlier versions. Okay, that is one thing. And then I told you yesterday. Now we don't have Cloudera new distributions. We have Hadoop Sandbox. I told you how to download that. Sorry, Hardenberg Sandbox, not Hadoop. But right now for Scala, you don't need all this. Okay. For now, you can skip this. If you want, you can skip it. So I have downloaded the Hardenberg Sandbox like this. You don't need to do anything. You just need to double click on this and just say OK. Then automatically it starts installing. But before that, you should have a virtual box. That is important. So clear, right? That is one thing. Second thing is right now to work with Scala, you don't need virtual box. You can directly work with Eclipse. Okay, because you need to download Eclipse and start working with Eclipse. You can write all your Scala programs inside Eclipse, or you can install even Scala. When you install Scala, you get Scala prompt. You can run from Scala prompt as well. But still, having Eclipse is good for you because tomorrow in real time when you run it, as you are a Hadoop developer, you need to do this development from Eclipse itself. You have to clone your Eclipse with big bucket repositories. If not big bucket, something else will be there in place of that. So this version control repositories will be there. From that we clone our data to with this development tools like Eclipse or IntelliJ. Then we start working with that. So playing in Eclipse is very helpful to you in real time. And one more thing I forget to tell you guys. Even after installing Sandbox, it almost looked like this Hartenberg Sandbox. It's almost a simulated environment which is very near to the real time, like almost it's near to the real time. So what I do is, as it is immediately not required, but in some session, somewhere in the middle or once we finish Scala, I will show you how to work with this Hartenberg Sandbox as well. And one more important thing is you can also what you can do is you can also execute all your queries from Cloud X Lab or Eclipse environment. But Eclipse is simple. You don't need very huge environment. Even with minimum memory, you can start working with it. Even 4 GB RAM is enough for working with Eclipse. Okay. Let's continue. Start with Scala now. Now we are starting a new programming, which is nothing but what we call Scala. See, why I started Scala now? Because we have two things here, two frameworks. One is a Hadoop framework. Okay. The other one is a Spark framework. Now, if you go check with your friends or your colleagues or with the job market, Hadoop stack is some of the components of Hadoop stack are outdated. Like MapReduce is outdated. Like Peak is outdated, and HBase are having their importance still. They are still useful. So in that way, so second thing is people are expecting more from Spark. That's why we choose to start with Spark first. Okay? That is one thing. Even interviews, people ask more questions on Spark itself. Now, so that's why. And if you want to work with Spark, and you should be really good with Scala, that is important. What is that? You should be having good idea on Spark. That is sorry, Scala. And also the advantage is once you are good with one language, it's easy for you to work with other languages. Okay? That is also there always. When we're really good with one language, it helps us to be good with other languages. Now today, let's quickly have an idea what is the Scala and what are the features of Scala and how to create an environment to run Scala applications. If possible, we try to finish all this today. So let's understand that now, so that we can start working from tomorrow. And you have even you have to work along with me parallelly, because that's what our agenda is. Implementation is our main motto. It's not just like just listening to a session. Applying it in the class itself is very important. That is our primary goal actually. So what is the Scala here now? Why do we need Scala? See, when you talk about Scala, it's something like this. It has three different features as it's talking here. It is an object oriented, it is a functional, and it's a imperative programming. It supports multi-paradigm. That's what Scala is. Okay, and it's pure object oriented here. So that's what Scala is. So what is this here? It is an object oriented, it is functional, and then imperative. Okay, that's fine. You can add it or you can skip it. Imperative means writing some short and scripty is crisp codes. That's what we call imperative coding. And then so this is what means. You can code in two styles in Scala, like in Python. Like in we can code like in a functional way, or we can code in a OOP, object oriented approach. But the point is, guys, however you code like in functional or you code like in OOP, we'll see all this. If you ask me what is difference here, how functional look, how OOP look, that we'll see. We see with programs, there is nothing like we are going to miss anything here. Talking about coding, automatically you come to know about it. But one thing might be a functional in the sense it's more like C kind of C kind of coding. Okay. Okay. I mean it's similar to that. We have only functions. We don't have other things. But still, Scala is pure object oriented. It is Java. Still, we have primitives in Java. They were not objects. But if it is Scala, even your data types are objects here. Means everything is an object. So means it's a pure object oriented programming. Acts as a bridge between these two actually. What is that? It acts as a bridge between OOP. So this is your Scala, and look at this diagram. This is functional, and it acts as a bridge here. Means you can implement in two different styles here, like a functional approach or a OOP approach. But still, these functions are objects here. They are not like functions are not just functions. Okay, what are functions here? Functions are objects. Means everything is an object here. The point is it's not like that only functions are objects. Everything is an object. Okay, that is also very important point. Got it right? Next one. That let me add that point. Everything in Scala. Even the same thing applicable for Python as well, but not for Java and Scala, C sharp, all that. Everything is an object in Scala. You can add these points, please. Maybe you can prepare some running notes, it might help you. Okay. Following, right? Following or not? Okay, next one.
Yes, sir.
Next. And here there is no concept of primitive data here. We don't have such things here. Okay. And this guy, he is the author of this this Scala, Martin Wadersky. And this was officially released for Java platform in 2004. But still, people came to know, like, from past 1 decade only, not more. This is not uh, too old like Java or Python. This is a bit very younger language. Okay, this is very young and very powerful as well. But still, the disadvantage with Scala is even though it's powerful or it has a very beautiful optimization techniques. The code wise, you have a lot of optimization with Scala. That's how it was designed. You don't need to write lines and lines of code with Scala, same like Python. People say in Python that 100 lines in other languages is one line in Python, which is actually a very fancy statement. But of course, it's not true in okay, it's not 100% true there. Similarly, in Scala also, is that we just write less lines of code here. We don't write more lines of code. And the advantage is there's a great optimization here. Are you following? Okay. But it has a lot of beautiful features. Besides that, the disadvantage is we don't have community support here. Community in sense, I am not talking about caste here. It's about Scala people. Okay. Like if it is Python, Python has a lot of community support. Java has a lot of community support. Because there are so many people working on Python, so many people working on Java, but very less people working on Scala. Even there are very less trainers who teach Scala also. Trust me. Okay. Even if somebody teaches, it's very less. So we don't have what is that community support. And next one, that is the disadvantage. But it doesn't mean that we cannot work with Scala. Still, we can work on that. Clear, right? Now, and here this is what Scala is object oriented as well as functional, and it is influenced by Java, SQL, Lisp, Pizza, etc. So many things. I don't know what is this Pizza. I have to check this. Okay, and influenced to F hash like C sharp, F sharp, okay, Phantom, Red, etc. There are so many things which influence Scala, but nothing to worry. Usually we try to save a Scala program with the dot Scala or dot .SC. Understood, no? Okay, generally we try to save it with dot Scala. Okay. And also Scala is applicable everywhere actually. Even though they are saying like it is used to create any kind of application like any kind of applications like web application or enterprise application or mobile application or desktop application. Actually, Scala is very popular with the big data technologies. If you go and look, we don't see Scala much in other tech. But where do we see Scala? Web, I don't see people really working with web apps. Okay. Web or mobile, I didn't see, or desktop based applications, we didn't see. But I have seen Scala very much with big data. Okay, with Spark exclusively, we have observed with Spark. These things we didn't see. Might be it might be supporting all this, but I didn't see all this. From my perspective, okay. Now there are so many things here. You can see these we can skip. They are not that important. We need to understand features of scale. Then we'll go to the just system requirements to install Scala. What are the software? What is the system requirement? What should we install first, and then what is that we should install later that we should do. Then after that, we start working with Eclipse. and we start doing code. Might be probably from tomorrow we can work on it. Then features of Scala. What is that? Type inference. This is one thing. It is there even in Python as well. Okay. Might be if you don't know Python, nothing to worry. Just I'm just telling you. That's all. It's not like you need to know about Python. Type inference is there in Python as well. What is type inference? It's simple. You don't need to specify data type. You don't need to put semicolon. That's what we call what type inference. And we can say that type inference data type. If you don't use any data type, it will automatically provide a data type that is there. But actually, we can declare in Scala in two ways. So we can declare with data and without data type. But recommended is use data type for better readability. Okay. We can declare a variable without data type, and we can declare a variable with the data type. We'll see all these examples, nothing to worry. Just have some idea first. All these are singleton objects. Scala uses, if you like, just look at this sample code. There is a very simple sample code here. You see object space main object, and then you put some main function inside. We define main like this. We used to use a def keyword here, and then arguments colon and then data type. That's how you define here. And this is a small piece of code. And this, whenever you declare something with object like this, when you put inside this object construct, you put a code in object construct. You don't need to understand anything because we will come to a very detailed discussion one more time. But this is singleton object. Okay, what do you mean by singleton? At most, one object is created for that. Means it is restricted for one object, and multiple threads can use this singleton object. Making singleton means it's just only one copy. Only one copy is available. You create okay, for that object you create 10 objects. Still you try to create 10 objects. Still it will have only one copy. It doesn't have 10 copies actually as per our this thing. But 10 references can point to this one object that is there. Internally, whenever you are working with singleton objects, so even though you try to work with 10 different this thing, but still we have only one copy, but it might have 10 references. That's all. What it right? That is singleton object. We'll talk anyhow. It is before going to talk, discuss what is that OOP, we will also see this what is singleton object, what is difference between singleton and object oriented programming. We discuss about all that. That is one thing. So usually singleton means how many copies exist there? Only one copy is created and shared by other objects or threads. Then next, immutability. What is that? What is immutability? So immutability means something which you don't change. You cannot modify objects in Scala. By default, all objects are immutable. What do you mean by that? So here, immutable means something which cannot be changed. And by default, all objects are immutable in Scala. Okay, but of course, if you want, you can make it mutable. There are different ways here. There are two different keywords, var and val. Suppose if you declare any variable with val, it becomes mutable. We'll talk on this anyhow. It's a detailed topic. If you use val user, it becomes immutable. Recommended is val or var. Which one is recommended in Scala? Scala mostly depend more on immutable objects, less on mutable. It doesn't mean that we should not use mutable. We use mutable also in Scala at times. Okay, but which is mostly used here? Val, because that's what Scala is all about. It is mostly immutable here. Means we cannot change these objects as we like. Okay, we'll talk about this. Just I am introducing all the terminologies and features of Scala. Okay, when we keep moving forward, we start discussing, definitely going to have a discussion on that. Nothing to worry about. Next one, lazy competition. Lazy evolution means, your code is not executed until you run certain functionality. Understood? There are so many actions that is need to performed before the execution has to happen. Okay, that is what we call lazy evolution. Okay, we'll talk on this anyhow. I will have a detailed discussion on this. Okay. So lazy evolution means the execution happens only when you call a certain action related action. Until that, it won't keep executing, even though it performs so many operations. Okay, all those operations will be executed only when you apply certain action. Suppose there is something called here transformations. Let me explain just with a small example. There will be something called transformations. Transformations means which will change data, and we use something called reduce by key, group by key, something like that. Okay, transformations. Okay, and then there are certain things like actions, like what we call them as like collect. I'm just giving you some idea. I apply map function. I apply flat map. Okay, then I apply group by. Okay, just idea. So what are all these? These are all doing some transformations. And then reduce. After doing all these transformations, still the execution doesn't happen. A small idea for you. What is a lazy competition? Still, execution doesn't happen. Now you call an action like this, something like this, correct? Just an idea. This is not 100% applicable, but still giving you an idea. I'm talking from Spark perspective. How it is useful in Spark. That's what I'm showing here. And these are transformations make which apply some changes to the data, whatever you are seeing here, map, flat map, or group by, or reduce. These are all famous interview questions. We'll talk more on this when I move to Spark. Now I apply this collect statement. As soon as I apply, when I apply collect, this is an action. Then the execution begins. Till this point, what is that? The execution doesn't happen. Got it? That is what we call lazy computation. The advantage of lazy computations is we can come up with better optimization techniques. That is the advantage. Understood? And also, the performance can be increased with the lazy computation. And memory efficiency can also be increased. Even the advantage of lazy computation is until you call this action, this is not loaded to memory. Understood? One more advantage of lazy computation is suppose you are performing some action. So until you call an action, your code is not, your method is not, or the functionality is not loaded to memory. Still, they will be in hard disk. In that way, what is that? We can efficiently manage memory. That is also there. Got it right. Next one. Case classes and pattern matching. What are these actually? See, these case classes are very much useful in Scala. Okay, what is that? Case classes are very much useful for us, and also even pattern matching. How these are useful? Suppose you are trying to do some what is that? So you have this RDDs or data frames in Spark. Actually, Scala is much applicable with the Spark. Suppose you have RDDs and Scala. Now I want to convert how these are useful. I'm just telling you. What is it? Case class means it's like your what we can say is it is used to it is used to apply pattern matching. It is very useful in pattern matching case classes. We can see with examples. You don't need to worry or you don't need to get confused. Just understand that. That's all. Just remember and forget also. No? Case classes are very useful where in pattern matching. You know what is pattern matching? Comparison. Applying some conditions with the regular expression, some kind of regular expressions. That's what we call pattern matching. Yes. And case classes are very useful with pattern matching. That is one thing. Second thing is that so pattern matching means what? Okay, these are useful in pattern matching. Pattern matching is used to apply, is used to compare. As the name says, matching. You can see that. Okay, compare data. That is fine. Then how else this case classes are useful? A real use case for you. When you go to Spark tomorrow, because you are learning Scala to implement in Spark, right? Tomorrow you start working with Spark. There you have something called RDDs. Now I want to convert RDDs to data frames. Then definitely what is that? Here we use case classes. What do you use? Case classes. To convert these RDDs to data frames, case class plays an important role. Are you following this? So case classes helps in converting RDDs to data frames as well. Because data frame is a higher is advanced object of RDD. Just an idea. Just remember, you don't need to understand what is RDD, what is data frame, where this is useful. Even in many cases in Scala, case classes are very useful for us. Okay, it is used to implement even the pattern matching. We can see with the detailed examples. Okay, so next, how this is useful and how we can apply pattern matching and what are the different areas where we can apply. We can see, but this is very important thing in Scala. Case class is one of the most important. Even if you attend interviews, probably you don't come out from the interview without this question on case classes. Okay, next one after that, concurrency control. What is concurrency control? One thing, if you ask me a question like why objects are immutable in Scala, one reason here is because of concurrency control. Whenever we are doing concurrency control, the objects has to be immutable. That is very important. So that different threads are playing on that on an object. So we should not allow other objects to modify data because we lose that data inconsistency. That is why we make this Scala objects immutable. Scala internally uses lot of concurrency to come with that parallel programming. Right? These are all distributed technologies like Hadoop or Spark or all these are distributed technologies, which has a lot of parallel programming happening. When a parallel programming happening means multiple threads are trying to execute an object parallelly. If that is the case, if many threads are working on one object, then suppose one silly thread is there. I'm just giving a fun example. That thread will come and try to modify this object. But other threads are depending on this, right? So in such cases, we have to make these objects as immutable. So that is very much useful in concurrency because there is a lot of concurrency involved in Scala in these Spark and Hadoop projects. Following? Are you following, guys? So concurrency control means executing. What is that? Executing programs are process parallelly. Process parallelly. What do we call it as? Is known as concurrency. Then what is concurrency control? Managing that parallel processing. Okay. Hope this is clear now. I'm just making it as CC. CC means concurrency control. Clear? I can show with small diagram as well, but not see anyhow we have to talk about it in future. Okay. String interpolation. So means you can generate a new string from existing string. That is what we call string interpolation. Or this is also one of the new feature in Scala. Anyhow, we'll see with the small examples, okay? Because we'll see everything, whatever the features we are showing here. Most of this we see with examples, except one or two. Everything we see with the examples. Next one, higher order function. What do you mean by higher order functions? It's very simple. Passing one function as a parameter to other function. You understand my point? Higher order means passing one function as parameter to other function. And such functions we call them as higher order. That is one of the feature of Scala. Passing one function as parameter to another function. Usually we pass variables, but we don't pass functions as parameters. But that is there in Scala. Okay. And such functions are called as what? Higher order functions. Okay. Traits. Traits. The advantage with traits is what many people don't know is it's like interface. People tell this. Okay, it's like interface where you have all abstract methods. Usually you have what here, where we have what is an abstract method? You need to wait until I start OOP, object oriented programming. But in a quick discussion, I can quickly tell you what is that. All abstract methods. But nowadays we can add concrete methods as well in traits. Concrete means methods with body. Abstract means method without body. Just method definition is abstract. Just a method definition is abstract. And a method without body is with body is concrete. Without body is abstract. Maybe I'll just make a note of it so it's clear for you. When you say abstract method, what is this? It doesn't have body. It's just a method signature, like like this def space some m1 parenthesis like this. This is abstract. Okay. What is concrete? Concrete method means something like this. You don't, again, we'll talk about all this. I'm just only introducing terminologies, that's all. Okay. Concrete method means method with body. something like d of m1 code, and then some body will. This is concrete method. The body exists. And such methods, what we call, gentlemen, we call them as abstract methods. Okay. And here, what is this now? Abstract method is an interface with no body. And triads are that. Triads are like interfaces. So, of course, now in triads we can have concrete methods as well, but that's a very big topic. I don't want to confuse you at this stage. Just remember. But one advantage with triads is there is something called loose coupling. Is that we have something? This point, many people don't touch this point. Got it, right? You know you have something, but why you know why you have that means there is no answer from many people. The advantage of implementing triad and a class approach is a loose coupling can be applied. When you have loose coupling, the dependency of objects reduces. When the dependency reduces, automatically we can increase the flexibility in coding. Okay, and that's what loose coupling is. One of the most beautiful feature of this object-oriented programming languages. Even this is there in Java, sir. It's not just only applicable in Scala. Loose coupling means this concept, just have an idea. That's all. You don't need to understand anything. Reducing the dependency of one object on other object is known as loose coupling. Okay, we'll see those with examples in future. We cannot. And this is one thing which we have to talk here about Scala, rich collections. So nowadays, you go to Python, you go to Java, you go to C Sharp, you go to even the Scala. One important thing you have to master always is playing with collections in these languages, because collections are like heart for programming. Okay, they are very core things without which most of your code doesn't exist. Okay, collections are like containers which hold a lot of data. They are dynamic in nature. So that's why all these languages provides collections like list, like set, like map. There are so many things. Okay, these are all called collections like list, like set, like map, like this. Following, except there are so many things. It's a big hierarchy. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Advantage. These are dynamic objects. They are growable and shrinkable. They can hold other objects as well. Suppose employees are there. I want to extract 1,000 employees from a database and store it application side. Okay. Then the best choice is using collection. Collections acts as temporary containers until you process some logic on them. Okay. Excuse me. At code level, you cannot have databases. You have collections at code level, at a memory level, otherwise. You can store things in database, that is fine. But if you want to do any processing, they has to be stored in memory. If you want to bring them and put it in memory and apply some logic on them, then the choice is you need collections. Are you following? Memory in sense RAM, sir, not hard disk. Okay, that is one more important thing. Nothing to worry. Just have some idea. Okay, type inference already. This is actually, you can see here now. All this is all about the explanation part. Right. We have discussed string interpolation also. Scala offers a new mechanism to create a string from your data, existing strings. That is what interpolation, but we'll talk on this with examples more than just theory analysis. Okay. I have explained everything, sir, so far. These were the most beautiful features of Scala. Understood? Are you good, sir? Just got some idea. Scala has all this. One thing you remember is Scala features for immutability. It talks more about immutability. Most of these Scala objects are immutable. So that is one of the beautiful feature. I told you why it should be immutable, because when you go for parallel processing, a lot of threads keep executing. In such cases, the data should not keep changing frequently, because that leads to data inconsistency. To avoid that, data people made your objects as immutable, so that other threads depending on some object are not going to get affected. So why such thing is there here? Because reason is this point many people don't touch, sir. Again, I am telling you, certain points people don't discuss. Okay, why that is required here? Why parallel processing is required? That is what big data is, right? They do distributed programming. In a distributed environment, one of the core feature of distributed environment is distributed processing is parallel processing. At a time, multiple jobs keep running on a single file. Got it, right? That's what this Hadoop and this Spark is all about. Understood now? Otherwise, we don't need to depend on these sophisticated and high-end technologies, right? But this is applicable only when you have huge data. When you have simple data, you don't need this big data or a small, this Spark, all this. Okay, now let's talk about system requirements. Before that, we need to talk few things here. One more advantage of Scala is what is that? It interoperates with Java. There is one more so we can talk it as a interoperability. This is a very beautiful feature, sir. One thing is Scala is written in Java. Do you know that? Maybe you can ask me, should I know Java now and come to Scala? No. See, any language you can start from the scratch if you have that passion to learn. Even here we start from the scratch. But interoperability means it interoperate with Java in sense it interoperates with Java. What do you mean by this? See, the execution flow is same here. Okay. Usually, what when I write a Java program, I apply Java C, and then it gives me bytecode. You don't need to understand single point here. Just observe that, sir. A Java program gets converted to bytecode. Then we run this bytecode on JVM. Then JVM will convert it to machine code and execute that. And finally, we get out. This is the execution flow. Machine code means zeros and ones. Byte code is not zeros and ones. It is an intermediate code. And here JVM is something which plays a phenomenal role here. Java virtual machine. Got it right? Even your Scala also runs on top of JVM. Where this Scala runs, sir? Scala also runs on top of JVM. It is a Java virtual machine. And as it is written in Java, most of the Java libraries which were implemented, we can directly import them in Scala as well. Means what? You have support of not just one language, you are getting support from two powerful languages. See, you can also use Java here, Java libraries in Scala. Are you following? And of course, Scala has its own Java libraries again. Means, what is the advantage here? As it is running on virtual machine, it can directly interoperate with Java libraries. That is one thing. Interoperate means we can use Java libraries in Scala as well. Directly, as if you are using Java itself. But don't worry. Don't fear here. Okay. Don't get scared. Because some people, if they hear Java, they will get shivering. But we are not working on Java here, sir. Java is not our agenda. Our agenda and agenda is what? Scala. But this Scala is built on top of what? Java. Okay, that is internal part. Don't worry about it. But here Java uses JVM, which is a virtual machine, which converts this bytecode to machine code. Even when you look at say Scala, you have a Scala program. Here you apply Scala C. What do you apply? When you call Scala compiler, it will also use you bytecode. Then from there again JVM will come into the picture. It will convert that to machine code and then you get out. You got this right. And here bytecode means dot class files. You don't need to understand, just observe. Okay, when you do this, this comes. When you do this, this comes. Just that idea is enough. We'll talk more on this with the detailed analysis. After that, still if you don't get it, then you can ask me to repeat or to ask to explain a couple of times. So this is it. These are called dot class files. Understood now? So this is one more important. Interoperability. What is that interoperability? One language using or running on top of other languages virtual machine here. And also it can use all the libraries of existing language like Java. Okay, that's what we call interoperability here. So finally, what is the point here? If I should work with JVM, you have to do two things here. If I should work with Scala. So first, what is that? First, the very important thing is if you go for system requirements. Why I want this picture is to get some idea. In Scala depends on JVM, which is something part of Java. Also, Scala is written in Java. And Scala uses libraries of Java directly. Most of the libraries can be used directly, which are compatible with Scala. And Scala has its own libraries. There are so many libraries. Okay, but the coding in Scala is much more simpler than Java. It's not like Java. But anyway, the point is same. If you really are good with same one language, it's like you are good with all other languages. Got it right? Now, what are system requirements now? To work with Scala, you need minimum requirements. Some operating systems are Windows or Linux or Mac or okay, anything. Or Sun Solaris, it's up to you. And you know, you need a RAM. Minimum RAM is required here. You don't need to have so much of RAM here. At least some 4 GB RAM is required. This is not big data, sir. When you talk about okay, it is RAM, not RAM. Okay, 4 GB. Minimum 2 GB is also fine, sir. But nowadays I don't see 2 GB machines. Okay. And then hard disk, it's up to you. Okay, minimum requirements is like 100 GB is also fine. But nowadays we don't have 100 GB machines. Next, what else? The important thing is this. You need a Java JDK. You should first install Java JDK. Sir. First, you should install Java software. On top of that, you should install Scala. If you directly install Scala, it won't get installed. Following. Oh, so first install Java. So that's why you need Java JDK. Then what else? Development tools like Eclipse or IntelliJ. Okay. Or you can use some other development tools as well, etc. Got it right? This were very important for us. So what are the steps you have to follow? First, you should download and install JDK. Then you should download Eclipse. Sorry, then you should download Scala. Steps are like this. What is that we should do? The steps are very clear, sir. Download and install Java. I'll show you if you want, not an issue. That is step one. Step two, download and install Scala. Step 3, download development tool like Eclipse or IntelliJ. Download development tool. What is that? Eclipse or IntelliJ. It's up to you. I am downloading Eclipse. If you want, you can download IntelliJ. But as let us have one common platform so that everybody will be on the same page. Okay, got it right? So we'll work with Eclipse first because that's what we are using in our project. Download development tool like Eclipse or IntelliJ. Then after that, nothing. After that, the story is simple. Just we need to create a file and then just run the project. That's all. We will see all that. It's not like I am just only talking here. We'll see all that, how to download and how to prepare your environment and start running your applications of Scala. Okay. Then what do you do in the next class? Next class, first we'll prepare our environment. If you don't want to prepare, you can connect it to your CloudX lab, gentlemen. What I can connect? We can connect it to CloudX lab. Okay. So you can start working directly from CloudX lab. That is also there. Clear, right? Following, sir? All of you. That we'll see too, because the time won't be sufficient for us. Tomorrow we'll work more on this. Okay, tomorrow we will prepare environment and start running applications. And you can also practice with me. That is what the core idea is. Implement while when you learn it. That is important. Okay, you have to practice along with me. And if any of your friends were interested, tell them to attend these sessions. It will be very useful for them as well. Please just share with your friends or colleagues so that this is actually a very good opportunity for everyone, for you, for me, as well as for everyone. Okay. Any questions now? Any questions, sir? No questions.
No, it's fine.
Then I have questions. Do you have answers then?
Yeah.
So what did we discuss then today? Please type in the chat box. What is our discussion all about today? So could you just tell me three core features of Scala? Just type in chat box. Three fundamental features of Scala. Whatever you will remember, tell me, because you are there with me, right? There are at least 8 to 10 features. It doesn't mean that just those are only the features. We can have many more. Just we listed out the important features. Just three important features of Scala. Okay. So what is the advantage of an object being immutable? Suppose this point. Many people says that it is immutable, but how it is useful, people don't ask. If your scalar objects are immutable, how this is useful to you?
If any changes, the changes will not be updated in the present object. So it will create a new object. It's just like string in Java.
True, correct. So, what is the advantage of making an object singleton?
The new value will not be updated for the present object. So every
Singleton,
time the new objects will be created.
See, I am talking about singleton, not immutability.
Okay. Okay. Singleton in the sense we can't create more objects. So only one objects we can create, but multiple references can be assigned to the same object. So it's just like JDBC.
Exactly. Okay. See, the concept of immutability is same, sir. Anywhere it is same. It's not like, it changes from to language. It is same everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is a lazy competition? What is lazy competition and what is the advantage? That this is one more famous interview. See what these features are famous interview questions on Scala.
So
Lazy competition in sense,
Before
it,
execution, it should go for all the actions related.
yeah, I talk with a live example on Spark, but still we can see that more, in the coming sessions. But lazy competition in sense, until you call some action, the execution doesn't start. Means when you start an action, then all your remaining things, the operational things, functional things will be loaded to memory and execution is going to start. The advantage is we can save memory and also the efficiency of optimization can be done. We can have a better optimization with such techniques. Okay. Anyhow, we'll see all this with the examples. It's not like we move like this. So I hope you are clear, right? We'll talk about each and everything in the features with practical examples. So when you look at that practical examples, it will be more interesting. Okay. From tomorrow, I can tell that we start programming. It will be much more interesting for us. Okay. When you start coding, you have a lot of exercises and you keep doing so much and we keep talking. Okay. That's useful to us, sir. Got it right? So that's it. And tomorrow we start doing some basic programs and we start from very scratch. Slowly we increase the complexity. We'll start from very simple examples to slowly keep on increasing the complex levels. But make sure our motto is you have to be very good with Scala. There is nothing in Spark, sir. Many people talk about Spark, Spark, Spark. Spark is like a shirt you wear to your body. First, you need a body, that is Scala. You can purchase shirt and wear it. That is not difficult. But having a proper body is important, sir. You got it right? You understand my point? So there's nothing in Spark. There are a couple of concepts. All concepts are again applied in Scala or Java or Python. But if you really master Scala, if you really focus what I am trying to explain in the sessions, I challenge with you. If you open a Java program, you can start immediately solving Java also. Matter of just syntax differences. There is nothing in all this, just syntax differences. You have to master the logic, not the syntax. Syntax, anyhow, you can Google it and get it. Understand, right? So we have to focus on that. Clear now? Any more questions?
no,
Any
that's fine.
yes. Anybody has any questions? You are good, right?
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. We did at start our coding. Still, you can share this with your friends. You can request them. This is useful course to them. Let's take it to many people. That's what my humble request to all of you. Please share to and friends and colleagues and everybody. It's a useful course for it. Have a question. Come on, BB. Who is that BB? Can you elaborate your name, BB? BB in sense? Bharat Bhushan. So you are Bharat. Okay, fine. Tell me, Bharat. Are you asking question? I don't know that you people can't hear me. Yes, I am not able to hear you. Correct. Question. You can type in chat box, Bharat. Not an issue. You are able to hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you can ask your question. Question is regarding installation. Tell me, Bharat. I'll show you installation step by step. See, yesterday I have installed Oracle. Okay. Hadoop Sandbox as well. Okay. What happened when you started? Yeah, it has shown to me also. For the first time yesterday, even I installed Hadoop Sandbox yesterday or day before yesterday. Okay. What you have to do is some service had occupied that port 8080. Might be probably Oracle. Yeah, we can do all that from the console actually. There will be console. I'll just show you if you are really interested. Should I show you? Sir, those who wish to leave, you can leave, sir. If you have office work, sir, if you need to, if you have any emergency, I will clarify Bharat doubt. So this is Hardenberg Sandbox. Double click on it. Okay, let that. It will take some time. Okay, you know that, right? But I have saved the state of machine, so I don't think it will take much time for us. What you have to do is open a browser. So it's clearly showing here. Once you install it, Bharat, it is asking to use this. If it is virtual box, you have to run on this port. What is that? Localhost colon 1080. Open a browser. Okay. What do you do now? Type that URL there. What is that URL? Localhost 1080. You get a sandbox UI like this. This is just like it acts as a server. You don't need to do anything in this. Okay. But you are following, right? Okay. Open a browser and start it. And I have this here. Now click on this quick links. This is for tutorials. You know, when you say new to Hadoop, launch dashboard, all this you have tutorials here, and click on this quick links. And you have all this here. If you want to connect it to web client, you need to say go to UI. It will username and password. Okay. Username and password, if you have a modified anything, it's otherwise it's clearly showing here itself. Root and Hadoop. Can you see this? That you have to give here. Is that root Hadoop? Okay, no problem. I've modified my address yesterday. Let me try with that. No issues. Connect again. Not an issue. Root. Mhm. Okay, no problem. Do one thing. Let me clear my cookies. What will be the general password? General password is this only. They were giving here, right? First, you have to log in with these credentials. Then you can change it. You can change it by using. There is a command like this admin Hadoop reset something password reset sandbox reset. That command you have to use. I'll show you anyhow. But local host. So you have to click on this. For some reason, I should clear my cookies. Otherwise, usually when you say this, you come here. You have to type root. You have to type Hadoop. Okay, type admin. I have modified credentials yesterday. Mhm. Why? Okay, passport. I'll try with this one first. This one also saying bad gateway. Whether it is right? Yes. Oh, 1080 only correct. It is same. Let me try in this. Local host 1080. Let me try this. I'm thinking there is some browser issue there. Or give it as admin here. Because I modified it yesterday. Password. Then Hadoop. It's had gone for localhost 420 na 1080. For some reason, this is not coming today. Yesterday it is working. Okay, I'll try from here first of all. I'll go to the Ambari, and here actually it will take admin as password. And again, admin, I gave admin only as password. Both are same. You can see now it is logging into Ambari. Might be we should restart services. I hope that was the issue. Start all. Okay, just say start all. Then I think we can go and run those data analytics, all that. For some reason, these got stopped here. Okay, still nothing to worry. I said start all now. So you can see, right? You can get into get into this. Restart all required otherwise instead of start all. And you wait for some time. Now again you try to go to your that one works thing here and try to connect. This time probably once you say start all, it might work. Okay. Got it right? And here actually this username password is given here itself. You can see here root and Hadoop. Even here username and password Raj ops both are same. Here it is already saying what is that? There is a Holger underscore gov. They will only tell like what you have to use. Got it right? So you can directly log in actually, not a big issue here. Understood now? And for Ambari, you should change your password. That's all. You should reset your password. But for others, I think you can use the same. And I told to restart. Let's the restart happen. Okay. See, you can see it starting services. Let's wait until it starts services. Then you can go and again try to connect it to what is that? Connect with either that web console UI or the other one, data analytics UI, whichever you want, you can connect with that. Okay. Now you got it. Okay. Then you can play with it, right? Admin is not there. Okay. First you have to get into that and you have to reset. It will ask you to reset. If you see here, can you see there? Get the instructions to set password. Can you see this now? You have to reset it. Understood now? First, I think it will be Raj apps. Get into that and change the password. Okay. That's all. Your doubt is clarified, right? Mr. Bharat Bhushan? Okay, try it. Okay. If anything issue is there, we can see it tomorrow. Right. See you.